Well, hello friends. Today we are going to implement some kind of search feature in the text editor in Serenity. So let's just look at what we have right now. So here is a header file from the kernel that we can open up here in the text editor, and I guess I would like it if I could just press Control F and then some kind of interface would show up and I could type in the string and then we would be searching for that string. And I could do like find next and it would find the next instance of that string. Basic search functionality. So I guess let's try to implement something like that. It might be interesting. So I guess we'll start. Let's see, how do we want this to be like? I guess we'll start with making the action for it. So in Serenity, actions are basically these things that you can keybind. And then when you press the keybind, something happens. And then you can also put an action into your toolbar or into your menu. And every text editor creates a bunch of actions here. So these are all the default actions that every text editor widget has. And this formatting here, don't ask me about it. This client format makes it this way, and it's really silly. But I just do what client format says. Oh, wait, hold on. Client format is doing it differently today. I did install a new version of client format. Oh, man. Well, this almost feels like an improvement. Or is it? Wait. But now it's all different. But it might be a slightly better different. Ugh, well, okay, this isn't why I came here. But actually, let me see if it changes anything else. It only changes these. Clang format version. Right. Alright, let me commit with this fixed first then. GTextEditor run Clang format on GTextEditor CPP. Okay, this is slightly nicer, honestly. So I guess I started complaining there completely prematurely. Still weird, but I can get used to this. I guess what would happen if you did like that? Then it would do that. Okay, so it lets you put stuff on its own line, and then if I wanted to do this, then it wouldn't let me. I'm not sure I understand why, but all right, fine, whatever. This is okay. So we are going to add a new action here, and this will just be, or maybe every GTextEditor widget shouldn't have a find dialog. Actually, now that I think about it, that would be a little bit weird. Let's put it in the text editor main thing instead, or text editor widget, which is the widget that has the toolbar and everything. Yeah, this will be better. This is the widget for the app. We'll just put it here. So I'm thinking, like, should we pop up a window or something else? Maybe we should do something else. Maybe we should do something that pops up at the bottom, sort of like here in QCreator, that you get like this little thing that pops up. I really like that. Let's try to do something like that. So I guess that would be, where's the status bar? Here. So it would have to go before the status bar. Find widget, we'll call it new G widget. And we'll say fill with background color, definitely. Size policy, it's going to be horizontal fill and vertical fixed. All right, and then let's see, set preferred size 0 for horizontal, and here we'll say 20. 24. Okay, and then find edit. Text box. And oh, we have to. Oh, my voice. Yeah, we'll do the same here. So size policy, fixed horizontal, fill vertical, and then this guy will say set preferred size. We'll do him like 100. And maybe that's not how that should work. Maybe we should have a layout instead. We'll set a layout. Horizontal layout, and we don't need the size policy, but instead we'll add a find next button, new G button. I guess we're gonna need a G button included here. Oops. Is this how you do this? Yeah. Find widget. Okay, and then we'll say find next button. Actually, these things should probably be members now that I think about it. So we'll put those down here. G text box and find text box null putter. And G button and find button. All right. And forward declare those. Okay, are we back on track? Yes, on click. Let's auto. Okay, so now we can actually do something in the callback here. So we'll just, for now, we'll just say debug find, and then maybe include the thing that we're going to look for, just to see that everything comes out right. And then this one was a file called find button. And I think we're good to build this just to get a look at it. Well, it's certainly not the most beautiful interface, but it's something. Let's do a little bit of tweaking right away here. So just to have some dignity, maybe we'll give this guy a little margin. Layout, set margins, something like that, and we'll make the find button a little bit different. We'll put a different size policy on him. So we'll say that he's horizontally fixed. It can just be 100. And is that good otherwise? I feel like that might be good. Maybe it's a little bit on the tall side also. Okay, let's try this one more time. Well, it's closer to what I had in mind. Maybe it's not perfect, but I think maybe it'll do for now. Okay, so then the idea is that when you type something in here, like include, and then you press find, then we would search for include, right? So we can make this really convenient for ourselves. So we'll just find text box set text, so we don't have to type it every time. And then I guess then we just have to implement the finding part. So how would that work? Well, we have an editor, so we could call, how does this work again? We have some class here, text position, right? So text position is just a line in a column, and then we can have text ranges, but in this case, I think we're just interested in a text position, because we're not going to do any regexes or anything like that right now, so we're just going to figure out where is the next instance of this string. So it's basically only used internally, almost only. We have cursor right here. Okay, so then we will add some kind of API. We'll try to use it before we add it. So let's see, position. Was there such a thing as an invalid text position, by the way? Is valid. Yeah, right. Maybe we should use optional for that. I don't know. Is valid is fine. Okay, so position is editor, find and find text box text. I guess we can say if and find text box. I mean, okay, so first let's do this. Needle. Because I always like this, you're looking for a needle in a haystack, so I always like it when you implement some kind of search functionality that like you refer to the things as the needle in the haystack. So that's why this text, and we can do that. Excuse me. And I guess we should start somewhere. Maybe we should start at the current cursor position, because if we find something, we'll move the cursor and select whatever we find. So starting at the current cursor position makes sense to me. Or maybe even starting at the end of the current selection. Yeah, maybe that's what we should do. Okay. Editor. Now we can get the normalized selection and okay, and then I think if position phone is buzzing, but it's nothing important right now, so we're all good. Maybe we should do a range here actually. Found range, because then it becomes easier to assign the selection. Because gText range had an valid state as well, right? So if it is valid, then we can do editor set selection found range. Okay, now we're just going to need to implement those two APIs. I think this is sensible, right? Because then if you find something, then you set that to be the new selection, and then next time you search again, then we'll be starting at the end of the previously set selection. Makes sense to me. Okay, so let's see. Selection, there was no way to set the selection. Select has selection. I guess we can just add it here. Const gText range. Boom. Okay. And what else did we need? We also needed find, right? So gText range, find, and then what we're looking for. I mean, that's obvious from context. And then gText position start position. Start from, does that make sense? That makes sense to me. Maybe it would make sense to also have a default value for this. So like maybe start from an invalid value means that you search the whole document starting from the beginning. Yeah, that's a reasonable API to me. Okay, so let's see if we can implement these. So gText range, TextEditor, find, and void gTextEditor set selection. And how does the selection work again? mSelection is what? It's a text range. Well, isn't that super simple? Then we can just mSelection is selection. I guess we'll also do if mSelection is already selection, then we'll just ignore this. There's no way to compare those. We can implement that. Okay, so let's see, gText range, it's here. We can already compare text positions. All right. So we'll just add a operator, text range other, mStart is other start, and mEnd is other mEnd. See, this could just be inferred, right? I guess that's something that is actually kind of nice about C++20 with the spaceship operator. Because like now, I don't want to go here and write this and this and this. And once you can write this guy, then it's kind of a neat addition to the language, I think. Anyways, right now we only need this one, so I'm going to be lazy and only implement comparison operator. Okay. And then we need the needle. And let's see, so text position. We'll make our own text position here. Position, and we'll say we'll start at start. If so, then start, otherwise it's 0, 0. Excuse me. Cool. Right. And then let's just do something naive, because this is not a programming interview, Andreas. You don't have to come up with a clever way to look for a string in your document. So I guess we can just look for the first character, starting at start position. So, and then we'll say that gText position is start original position. We'll just remember where we started the search. Okay. Okay, and then I guess we can do something like if position or oh, I am the editor, right? So wait, how do I get the current character? Let's see. Line is m lines. Start line. What kind of things do we have here? Okay, I have to go look at this class. Characters. Let's add a little helper here. It won't hurt. We'll have a character at const g text position const. This will help us. Line is m lines. Do we have a line helper? No, we don't. Okay, so it's m lines at position dot line. Like that, and then finally it is return line characters at position column. And we'll say assert that position line size or line count, and assert that position column is less than line length. There we go. And just sprinkling some assertions here because this is a raw pointer, so I want to be a little careful. Just make sure that everything's on the up and up. All right. So here we grab the line. Now all this code here is good. So let's instead do this position. We'll say if needle is empty, return. We don't find empty anywhere. So this, like getting this out of the way so that we can assume that needle is a non-zero length string, just helps us write this code better. I find that like early returns on exceptional conditions makes your function like a lot more understandable, because you're getting the edge cases out of the way before you start doing your logic. Like if you have edge case management in your logic, then you're kind of muddying it up and makes it more difficult to understand. Anyways. th is needle 0. If it's not, then we'll just continue, I guess. And let's see, how do we actually continue? Continuing means that we do position is, we want to advance one step, but we don't have a way to do that really. Maybe what we really want here is some kind of character iterator helper. Maybe that's what we should do. How will that look? Class G text iterator, text editor, character, iterate. Nah, we can just be lazy now, and we'll do an iterator some other time. Advance next position. Okay. So we'll do that, and we'll do it the same thing here. So we'll say next position, and then we can make this loop go until position is the same as original position again, and then we can wrap around. Wouldn't that be cool? Okay. Now we just have to position after. I like making code read out like English like this, like next position after position. Hopefully you also find that understandable. Position after const g text position. And this is all just about like returning g text position, like a line and column that comes after this one. So line position, m lines, position line, and then if position dot column is equal to let's see, how does this work? Position is equal to line dot length minus 1, then return. Oh no, hold on. Because the line length might be 0. So I think if we're at the line length, then we need to go to the start of the next line. And then if position dot line is m lines, or we'll say line count minus 1, then return 0, 0, because then we start over again. Should wrap. If should wrap, return 0, 0, otherwise return failure. Right. That seems like a good API. Okay, and then here we'll just do position.line plus 1 and 0. Okay. And if we're not at the end of the line, then we'll return position.line position.column plus 1. Okay, cool. And let's add that somewhere. Where did we put you? How about right here? Yeah. Okay. Let's say true. All right. And then if character is needle, then continue. Oh, I know how we can do this actually. We can say int needle x. CG text position until match. So if needle index, so if this is the first character in the needle that we're matching, then we'll say start of the potential match is this position right here. And then we'll increment the needle index. Otherwise, we'll just say needle index is back to 0. Yes, okay, and then if the new needle index is needle length, then I think we have a match here. So then we would have to return start of potential match position, because that would be the text range that we were looking for. And if we bail out of this thing, then we would just return empty like that. All right. Well, I am feeling overly optimistic, so let's just try to build it. Set selection, didn't I implement that? G-text range. Oh, right, I have to do a bigger rebuild because GTextEditor is in the GUI library and TextEditor, the app, is a separate thing. Maybe one day we'll have dynamic linking. Then we can just rebuild the library and the app will just link against it. I keep wondering about dynamic linking though, like if it's really a good thing, because other than like active development, there are so many benefits to static linking, because it just makes everything that much easier and stable. Okay, so well, we're not doing anything with the information, so we have no idea what's happening here. So I feel like I probably made some mistakes with this, but let's see what we can do with it. Find, right. Oh, it's that selection. Maybe it should be doing something. We'll say find returned found range. And yeah, I don't think we have any output helpers for these. So let's make some. Inline const log stream. Text position. I guess we can just do it like this. That. And then for text ranges, we'll just do like this. Value. Oh, wait, hold on. Not like that. We'll do it like this. Value dot start. We'll do a dash and then value dot end. But if value not valid, we'll do gtext range invalid, like that maybe. Do the same here. It's kind of cool. Okay. I like how the log stream stuff is growing organically as I add more and more types to it. This is so much nicer than the way I used to do debug output. Like, if you remember in the past, I would have been like blah blah blah, and then found range dot start dot blah, blah, blah. This is clearly better. Okay, so let's see if this silly thing actually finds anything. Just invalid text range, right? Well, you can't get everything right the first time. So how did we mess this up? Let's see. Maybe we'll do this. Ch at. We'll do this. Position, and then just a character, and like that. Let's see. We'll see what it says. If we at least iterate through all of the document or what. Oh, well, at least we find 0, 0. And then we don't do any more than that. Position. Well, none of these things seem right that we're doing here. So next position after seems like it's not really working right. And 0, 0, like that's where the cursor is, but let's see, let's dump everything out. So original position is 0, 1. Wait, what? Oh. Guess this is what I wanted to do. I wanted the original position to be the original position. Oh, and what happened here? And then we super crash in character at, because we are at an invalid position, right? Primary one's character at. So presumably we are at 0, 12, which is like the end of that line. So we should have skipped the line. Position column. Line.length. Line.length is to text.size -1. So this is a vector, right? So it's null terminated. That's why we have an extra character. All right. Then let's see. So when we get to line.length, that's 12 in this case. Then we should have broken after 11. So if we were here, if we were at 11 or after, I'm trying to remember, like, how the hell do new lines work? Text I. I'm guessing that yeah, right. So when we try to combine the whole list of lines to make a single string out of this text document, then we add new line characters between each line. So the lines themselves do not contain new line characters. That makes sense. And position column is less than line length. Wait, why? TextEditor character add. How am I messing this up now? I mean, let's just be really noisy. Because I guess that it's going to be a 12 here, even though, why would it go past that one? Oh, it wasn't like that. Position column is less than line.length. So I guess that's an empty line, actually. So that's process.h. That's this line right here. So it's empty. That means that... What does that mean in practice? It's an empty line. Line plus 1. Let's see, character add. I guess we could do it like this, that if position.column is equal to line.length, return new line. Do a little magic here. Because then this logic here makes more sense, right? Because otherwise we're kind of skipping over the new lines, which is not what we want. Yeah, that's more like it. Of course, we're forgetting that very last guy, so... Start of potential match position. Guess this one should be next position after. Because the selection should end after the last character in the match. I was watching this morning before work. I was watching Roger Clark on Twitch. He was building a text editor in like a virtual machine running, I think, Windows 2000 or something, in Visual Studio like 6. It was fun to watch while eating breakfast, and I guess that's what made me want to work on a text editor today. Oh wait, hold on, I have to grab a file actually. Okay, well that's really cool. And then, boop, we wrap around and look at him working here. Going through all the damn lines. Well, that's just too much output. I don't want to wait for all that, so. let's calm down a little bit with all the debug output. Because sometimes, like, it's certainly possible to make so much debug output that it slows down even simple operations. Oh, I did the thing again. Yeah, there we go. Wraps around. Pretty neat. So search for something else. That process. So I think, yeah, now, so we probably found it, but it didn't scroll it into view. It would be cool if it did that. Do we have something like that? Scroll into view. Oh, we do. Look at that. Scroll into view, and then we just pass a rect. Scroll cursor into view, actually. We can even do that. That's even easier. So in set selection, we'll do scroll cursor into view. And when we do set selection, let's see, then we should also set cursor to be the M selection end, let's say. And does this automatically scroll it into view? Yes, it does. Okay. So I think that would be a cool little thing to do. Update, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. So let's try that. Because it's kind of weird to not set the cursor when we set the selection. I think set selection should set the cursor to like either the start of or the end of the selection. Otherwise that would be really weird behavior. Okay, so let's try process. Look at that. That's pretty damn cool. Oh, where are you? Oh, you're, wait. This thing works a little bit so-so. Oh, right, because it's only scrolling the cursor into view. Oh. That's curious. I guess we should scroll selection into view, which really means scrolling the start of the selection rather than the end of it into view. So how do we do that? Will be like a variant of this. It's like scroll. Well, we can make something like scroll position into view. And we'll take a text position. And then here, scroll cursor into view, we'll just call scroll position into view and cursor. And then this guy, we just change this right here to use a provided position instead of M cursor. Right? Cursor, we're all gone. Then we take this API and do like that. Maybe we can just leave it there actually. And then in set selection, we'll do a little tricky trick here. We'll just do scroll, position into view, M selection start. I feel good about this one. And I feel like I probably have some bugs here and stuff, but like, oh, wait a minute, this didn't work out right at all. Process, blah, blah, blah. It's all good. Can we get one of those that was not going so well? Yeah, okay, now we're screwed again. Column 11. Scroll position view. Wait, am I not doing the right thing? M selection start. Let's just try with the normalized selection, and then we can also say scroll position to view. I just want to see what it's doing. Get rid of those, and those, and those. Process. Okay, so here, 312.4. See, I feel like that didn't actually scroll into view. Because I can't see column 4. It's all the way over here. Scroll position into view. Oh, because I'm a huge dumbass. Because scroll position into view still gets the cursor content rect. What we really want is an arbitrary position rect. Well, we can just do the same thing one more time. Content rect for position. Const g text position. I'm gonna convince this guy to do the right thing. Just give me a moment here. And then here we'll just do content rect for position and cursor. This one we'll just call rect. Cursor x. That's weird. We'll just call that x. Oh, wait, hold on. That was not what I wanted to do. There we go. Okay. We'll put that right next to him. It's nice to generalize these things a little bit. Okay. And scroll position into view should now call content rect for position. Okay. Guess we can try these first. Yeah, that worked fine. And then process. Boom, 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 boom. Come on, take us to the bottom. Moment of truth. Boom! Look at that shit. Beautiful. Yep. I mean, it could work differently. Like, it could give us a little slack and whatever, but right now I think this is good enough. So let's just nuke some of these debugs. Find colon Text editor widget. Actually, we can leave those in here. Oops. We'll say here, we can put everything all in one go. So we'll say find needle returned. Let's look at the debug output that we get. Let's search for something else like inline linked list. Yeah, see? Very nice, isn't it? Cool. And we see this here. Maybe we should be even cooler and put little quotes in the debug output, but I think we don't need to rerun just to see that. So let's do a patch review. Added a whole bunch of gunk here. Let's see, libgui, I guess can't really escape reviewing all of this. So what was in the text editor, which is adding the widget that calls the API. Actually, yeah, so we can do the libgui by itself. Okay, so here we took cursor content rect and we turned it into content rect for position. And then we still have cursor content rect, but it now just calls content rect for position m cursor. Cursor content rect. Is that still used? Yes, it's used to paint the cursor. Okay, cool. Otherwise, this is just a straight refactoring it to take a parameter. And same thing here. We had scroll cursor into view, turned it into scroll position into view, text to position, and now scroll cursor into view just calls that with m cursor. Right, and then here is our next position after logic, which is what we opted for instead of doing a more like a general iterator class, which we might want to do later, but this is good enough for our needs right now, I think. So it just takes a text position and then whether or not we should wrap at the end of the document. Should wrap. It's not the most beautiful name. Maybe we'll call it wrap at end of document. Oops. Should wrap. Yes, we'll do that. Should wrap. And then where did we call this guy? Next position after. All right, we didn't specify anywhere. It was the default value. Okay, well that's cool. I think that's better. Then we spell out what that is instead of just using a magical Boolean argument. Okay, yeah, so then what that does is that if we're at the end of a line and we're not at the end of the, well, if we are at the end of the document, then we either wrap around to 0, 0, or we return an empty position, which means that position is, what does that even mean? Position is not original position. I guess we don't handle that case actually, so let's say as long as position is valid and position is not original position. There we go. Okay, and then what do we do in find here? because this one, advancing the position, that's pretty straightforward. All right, so fine, if you're looking for an empty needle in the haystack, then we just tell you, nope, can't find that. Otherwise, we start at the provided start position if it's valid, otherwise we start at the top of the document. And then, oh, this is a little wonky. We start by advancing the position one step, but that's not right, because that means that if we search for the very first thing, like pragma, then we're gonna screw that up, right? Oh, right, yeah, because we don't find that because we start looking right here. So we should actually start, we should not advance it. But the trick is that this part here, we have to do down here instead. If position is not original position, we have to, oh, we have to do all the logic at the bottom. So do while position is valid and position is not original position. And advance the position. Plop. How about that instead? I don't often write do while loops. Most loops you can put the loop condition at the start, but sometimes you gotta do it at the end. There we go. And let's add another one just for funsies. Yeah, we can find both of them. Plop, plop, plop. And if we search for ones, then we find that too. All right. So that's an improvement. Right, so we just restructured our loop there a little bit. And then the way that we implement the actual searching is that we maintain a needle index, which is how many characters of the needle we've matched thus far. And then when we match the very first one, then we remember where this potential match started. And we increment the needle index. When we reach the needle length, then we say, okay, we matched all the characters in the needle. Here is the position in the haystack. Otherwise, we just reset the needle index and advance the position. And we continue as long as the position is valid and we are not back at the original position. Cool. Then TextEditor set selection. Take a range with the new selection. If it's already the selection, we just consider it a no-op. And we assign this to M selection, set the cursor to be at the end of the selection, and then we scroll the position into view. We pass the normalized selection start. So the normalized selection, I just used it here because I got paranoid, but basically the normalized selection is you can select from left to right or right to left. And then if you select from right to left, then your selection start will be like after your selection end. But the normalized selection switches them around in that case. So that in a normalized selection, the start is always the like the earlier document position. So that's what that is. This way we know that like the leftmost part of the selection is what we scroll into view. And then here is, right, the character add helper. So we just grab the line that this position is on. And then if we're at the, like one past the end of the line, basically, then we return a new line. Otherwise, we return the character at that position. Okay, and here's our enum that we added for the wrap flag. And then here we're adding a comparison operator for gText range. We add scroll position into view, blah, 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 headers for all of these different things that we've added. And finally, operator stream for being able to pass text position and text range to a log stream. I think we're all good. All right. Libraries, libgui, gTextEditor. gTextEditor, implement basic text search, a simple text search API. API is, or no, here, let's say gText range, find, should wrap at end of document. It returns an invalid gText range if the needle can't be found in the haystack. Otherwise, it returns range. Oh no, it returns a range. Wait, hold on. This is not the whole API. This is not the API at all. It's gText position start. This API searches function searches for the needle in the haystack, the text document, full text, and returns a gText range for the closest match after start. If the needle is not found, it returns an invalid gText range. If no start position is provided, the search begins at the head of the text document. Wow, that was a very, very serious little API commit message there. Not bad, very good boy commit message. Okay, and then here are our changes to the TextEditor app. So let's look at them. We're just adding members here for the find text box and the find button. We don't technically need the find button, but it doesn't matter if we add it either, so whatever. Find widget is a new widget, GWidget, which has a background color, and it has a fixed height to make it 22 pixels tall. Internally, it has a horizontal layout with 2 pixel margins everywhere. We shouldn't preheat it, I think, with Pragma, so let's get rid of that. And then we have the find text box on the left in that container, and then the find button on the right. Find button is 100 by 100 wide and I guess automatically tall. Then when we click on it, then we search for whatever is in the find text box. We search for that in the document, and if we find it, then we set the document selection to that, or the editor selection to that. I think that's pretty good. Maybe we should have something like not found pop up if we don't find it. That'd be kind of neat. We can do that. Message box. So find else. Oh, here we'll say like this, and then else message box show search string not found in document, I guess, something like this. We can just say not found in document. Not found. Needle dot characters is what I was looking for, and then the title will be not found. Message box type. Is it an error, a warning, or information? I guess it's just information, really. Message box. Input type, just OK. And finally, it should be the happy owner window of this thing. I guess our window. But do we even have a window at this point? I think maybe we don't. Or maybe we do. Maybe we do. Okay, I think that's fine to just pass window, actually. So let's just try it. So yeah, so that's what I did there, just passing the window. And this is so long. Let's try to break this up a little bit. Yeah, this is like, clearly this is better to put across multiple lines, but if we're gonna put it across multiple lines, we should use curly braces here instead, because otherwise that looks really weird. TEP. Not found, nothing. It's kind of cool. Pragma. Can we find it? Yes, we can. Oh, cool. All right. So now we also have a message box that shows up. All right. I think that's basically it. So let's say text editor, a search bar, that allows you to find text in the document. Find text. That allows you to search for text. Wow, that's some stellar commit message right there. If the text is not found, we show a friendly message box that says we didn't find the text. All right, I'm getting a little tired here, so I think that's gonna be it for this video here. So let's just take one more look at it. What do we search for today? We search for a syscall. Maybe one that I like. How about mmap? Oh, look at that, it found mmap. How very cool. All right, I'm pretty happy with this. So if you made it this far, then I thank you for watching, for hanging out, and for coming back. I appreciate it so very, very much. And I hope you saw something interesting, and I will see you next time. Bye.